This is what I've learned from all the conversations that I've had. You have to fight just as hard to seek perspective as you do to win a championship. Society either shapes or distorts what you value. It starts when you're young. When you make a basket, what happens? People applaud. When you win, people praise. When you lose, people express disappointment. What's happening? A value system is taking form. You're learning what society values. If you come from a house where your parents are emotionally attached to your performance, they're mirroring what society values, and you're taking your cues from them on what's important. In that case, it aligns with society, and you chase that because that's all you know. If you come from a house where your parents are trying to shape you against what society values, you feel in constant conflict because every time you walk out the front door, you see something different. In that case, you want to believe them, but you're confused because everywhere you look, you're confronted with what society values. If man's approval is important to you, you become a product of what he values. You sacrifice what's really important to be successful. And when you do that, you're labeled as committed, driven, or someone who possesses the right mindset. You start to derive your confidence from that, and you learn what it takes to be great. Then you take that information into your profession. And you work because that's what the system rewards. That's how you get recognized and you set yourself apart. The profession turns you into a 24-hour coach. And eventually, you get your shot. And you remember what got you there. Work. You direct your drive at what the system rewards. Winning. You become consumed, and the important people in your life become number two. A long way back from number one. And what happens? You win. Applause. People praise, and you feel the love. You have to keep up the good work, and you work harder and harder to outdo your last performance. And each time you do, that praise turns into expectation. Eventually, you set the bar so high, you don't know if you can reach it. And then you don't. People express disappointment. You become confused. It's like they've forgotten how much you've done. You start to work harder and harder to appease them. It starts to seem like whatever you do, it's never enough. And eventually you realize this is how you're spending your life on earth. There's a major internal conflict that starts to develop. You start to ask yourself, is it worth it? And you realize that you're starting to ask that question more and more. Eventually you get to a place where you look yourself in the mirror and you answer no. And that's when it shifts. You start to search. How did I get so far off track? What did I value? Why didn't I make time for what was really important? What did the people I surrounded myself with reinforce? That breakdown leads to a breakthrough, and you realize that it's your choices that put you in that situation. And you feel blessed to have that awareness because you realize you can do it differently if you so choose. Thank you guys so much for coming out today.